Evening to everyone. We call our school board meeting for the Weldon City Schools to order at 7:03 p.m. At this time, I would ask that you would join us in reading of our mission statement. If we could do that together, read our mission statement together. The mission of Weldon City School District is to create and maintain a highly effective educational system in which every student receives the highest quality of education. School employees and parents work together to prepare students to become competent and responsible citizens who value education as a lifelong process. Thank you so very much. At this time, I will ask fellow board members if they would to review our agenda that is before us for tonight. Before we approve the agenda, fellow board members, I would ask if we would remove on 11, remove 11A and B, that we defer them. And I'm going to say this after speaking with our attorney. One item in particular, there is some mixed verbiage. Board members have been said it's wasn't legal in one aspect and then legal in another aspect about the frequency of pay within our district. So I asked the attorney today, and there is some language that we need to be clear on. So I'm asking that we would pull that and actually both of them, all of the discussion / action items A and B until next month, so we can get clear verbiage and language in accordance with what this board's pleasure may be. So we would change number 12 to 11 and then change number 13 to 12. Be anything else? All right, if not, a motion would be in order to approve our agenda for tonight as it has been amended.
Make motion that we approve the agenda with the necessary changes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Has been motioned by Mrs. Bird Robinson and seconded by Mrs. Donna Harrison that we approve tonight's agenda as it has been amended. You've heard that motion. All in favor, if you let it be known by your voice vote. Mr. Williams? Yes. Mrs. K. Robinson?
Aye.
Mrs. Bird Robinson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jenkins? Mrs. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Hale? Say I'll make it on. Okay. And OD Sykes, aye. Let the record reflect unanimous approval of the agenda as it has been amended by the 6 board members present for our meeting tonight. At this time, we will ask if Mrs. Donna B. Harrison will share with us our thought for the evening.
Good evening. For this afternoon, I would just like to say, as we enter into the holiday season, let's give thanks for our family, friends, and let's love on one another. And I hope everyone have a safe, healthy, and a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Harrison, for that thought for the evening, and hopefully all will govern themselves accordingly. All right, board members, we will ask at this time, we'll prepare for the approval of our minutes from our previous meeting. Motion would be in order at this time, unless there's something that we need to point out. All right, motion is in order.
I move that we accept the minutes from October 21st as written.
Second.
Motion has been moved by Ms. Kay Robinson and seconded by Mrs. Bird Robinson that we approve the minutes from our previous open session meeting, October the 21st. You heard that motion. Is there any unreadiness for further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Mrs. Harrison,
Yes.
Mrs. Jenkins. Aye. O.D. Sykes, aye. Bird Robinson,
Aye.
Ms. Kay Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
and Mrs. Hale. Still not on? Okay. Record reflect unanimous approval by the 6 board members present for our last open session minutes. All right, we'll move on to reports at this time. Dr. Myers.
Good evening, Chairman Sykes, board members, principals, district staff, students, parents, and community. We are committed to leading, teaching, and learning with high expectations every day. Students, I just want to remind you as we move into the holiday season to remember to read 20 minutes each day, even while you are on your holiday break. We are delighted this evening to have so many of you here with us, especially our student athletes. Thank you for a wonderful season to our football players and our cheerleaders and our volleyball team. Monday, November the 22nd through Wednesday, November the 24th are optional work days for teachers and staff, and therefore there is no school for our students. Our holiday officially starts Thursday, and I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving holiday break. Mr. Chair, this concludes my report for this evening.
All right, thank you so very much. Let me share with us a couple of things, have a few things for our report tonight. First and foremost, some of our board members attended our North Carolina School Board Association conference on last week in Greensboro, North Carolina. We had a great time seeing fellow board members from across the state of North Carolina. And also our sessions were very informative and very enlightening. And it was certainly a joy to attend our North Carolina School Board Association, as we did not have our session in 2020. We had it this year, and it was very enlightening. Also, I want to bring back to our district a letter that was shared with us from our president of our North Carolina School Board Association and our executive director in this respect. This letter is dated November the 11th, 2021, and it reads as follows. After a lengthy discussion and careful consideration, the North Carolina School Boards Association, NCSBA, Board of Directors voted to terminate its membership with the National School Board Association, NSBA. This decision will be effective at the end of the term of which the North Carolina School Board Association has paid its National State Board Association dues, which is June 30th of 2022. For a number of years, some of the state school boards associations, including North Carolina, have voiced concerns over governance and financial issues at NSBA. During that time, little has been done to address these concerns. The September 29th letter from NSBA to President Biden, in both its inflammatory language and the request for federal agencies to intervene in our communities, was just one in a series of lapses in governance. North Carolina School Board Association shares its members' concern about safety at school board meetings. As a proponent of local control, NCSBA believes that local law enforcement is in the best position to respond to those concerns and seek outside assistance if necessary. This decision to leave NSBA was not made lightly. To date, 10 states have officially withdrawn from NSBA. Another 6 state associations have not paid their dues for this year. NCSBA will seek out opportunities to collaborate with other state associations to make sure that the national training opportunities and advocacy at the federal level continue. If you wish to discuss this decision, please feel free to reach out to either of us. Sincerely, Amy Churchill, the NCSBA president, and Leanne Winter, which is the executive director. Also, I want to communicate this with our Board of Education tonight. Each one of the 3 LEAs within Halifax County have the responsibility to appoint a trustee member to represent our district on the Halifax Community College Board of Trustees. There are 4 trustees that are appointed from the 3 LEAs. Each individual LEA being Weldon City Schools, Halifax County Schools, and also Roanoke Rapids Graded School District have the opportunity to appoint 1 trustee to serve on the Halifax Community College Board of Trustees. But the 3 LEAs together must appoint the 4. And so I wanted to share this HCC administrative unit trustee nomination process with us tonight, so our entire district can be informed. General Statute 115D-12 outlines the procedures for selection of a board of trustees for each community college. The 3 local boards of education in Halifax County, which consist of Halifax County Schools, Roanoke Rapids Graded School District, and Weldon City School District, are charged with the responsibility of appointing 4 members of the Board of Trustees of Halifax Community College. The following procedures will be followed when an appointment is necessitated. Each local board of education will appoint an individual who will represent their district. Trustees will serve a 4-year term. At the conclusion of the term of appointment, the local school board may reappoint the same person if he or she desires to continue to serve, or another person may be nominated by the vacant position. The 4th trustee position will be a rotated position in which each local board of education will take turns nominating a candidate every 4 years. The rotation order will be alphabetized as follows: Halifax County Schools, Roanoke Rapids Graded School District, and then Weldon City Schools. The appointment and the appointing district and appointment term will be posted on Halifax Community College website. The nomination schedule goes from, it actually started in 2017 through 2037. And in 2017 was Halifax, 2021, which this year is Roanoke Rapids, and Weldon will come up in 2025. And then in 2029, go back to Halifax, 2023, Roanoke Rapids, and 2037 will be Weldon. At the conclusion of the term of appointment, the local school board may reappoint the same person if he or she desires to continue serving, or nominate another individual to fill the vacant position. The nominating district, and this is 2021, and the nominating district is Roanoke Rapids. The nominating district will be responsible for vetting the candidate prior to presenting him or her to the other districts. Once vetted, the nominating district will submit the candidate to other districts for review and approval. The result of their review will be communicated to the nominating district, and the nominating district will then communicate the final decision to the president of the college. So board members and community, I just want to inform us to let us know tonight. It is my understanding that Roanoke Rapids School District did approve someone. So they will be sending the person that they approved to us for our approval. We will get that at a later date once all of that information has been sent to us. So I wanted to share that with us tonight, and I wanted the community to hear that as well. Also, in my closing comments, let me say to all of our students and our staff, everyone that has a birthday in the month of November, Weldon City School Board of Education, Weldon City Schools family, we wish all of you a very happy birthday and hope that you will have many more birthdays to come. I myself am a November baby, and I am certainly glad to have experienced on yesterday another birthday. So happy birthday to all of you who are celebrating a birthday in the month of November. Thank you so very, very much. At this time, we will prepare. Oh yeah, we can do that now. We can do that now. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Whoever. Okay, we're going to take a few minutes now. We'll get this done now to recognize our student athletes. We'll get that taken care of right now. And I want to make sure that I don't mess anybody's name up. So I'm going to ask our athletic director, Coach Lynch, if you don't mind, would you come up and assist us? Because I know that you know all of these students' names, and we're going to present them their certificates. If you would assist us with this, sir, we would be most appreciative. And what we're going to do, if you would, just to save a little time, we want all of our student athletes to come up to be recognized so we can have a photo op. But at the same time, before you leave, please see our athletic director, Coach Lynch, and he will hand to you at that time your actual certificates. All right? If we can do that to save a little time. Now, if you all are going to leave as soon as this is done, y'all need to let Coach Lynch know so he can meet you out in the hall and give you your certificate before you leave. We hope that you will stay, but just in case you don't stay, we want to do this now. I'm going to read this certificate. This is Certificate of Achievement presented to the said student athlete for your outstanding performance, dedication, and contribution as a member of the said sport, whether it's football team or whether it is volleyball, for the year, school year 2021 through 2022. This day, November the 8th, 2021. Of course, it is signed by the coach, the assistant coach, and the athletic director. We're going to give you a round of applause now. Thank our teams for representing Weldon City Schools District in an excellent way. And we're going to have now our athletic director, Coach Lynch, if he would come and call the names. And when he calls your name, if you would, just come and stand across the front here so we can take a nice picture to be posted on our website. All right? Coach.
I'd like to start off with the volleyball team. First of all, coach and assistant coach. Come up here, Coach Miss Phyllis Neville, assistant coach. Oh, I'm sorry. assistant coach, Ms. Katrina Bevier. And now we'll start with the student athletes, Ms. Janelle Baker, Ms. Shakira Boone, Ms. Adriana Britt, Ms. Caitlin Davis, Ms. LaDeja Finner, Ms. Kayla Frazier, Ms. Shaylin Johnson, Ms. Mario McGee, Ms. Brianna Moody, Ms. Kenayla Price, Ms. Cheyenne Richardson, Ms. Tyquasia Pierce, and Ms. Makaya Warren. Say it again. Ms. Yanara Brooks. All right, this group of coaches and student athletes had an excellent season. I think they finished, was it tied for second in the conference and made the playoff, and they all well-mannered students, and all of them are very coachable. So let's give them another round of applause. Okay.
Great job representing us. You are appreciated.
Next, I'll be calling the football players up. First, I would like to ask Coach Stephen Brooker to come forward, the head coach. His assistants, Joe McGee. Next assistant, James Williams. Next assistant would be Michael Peebles. Last assistant would be James Lynch. Now we'll start with student athletes. First name, Mr. Jamarian Andino. Next will be Mr. Kivante Holly. Next will be Mr. Navario Austin. Next, we have Mr. Amari Williams. Next, we have Mr. Kanye Sharon. Next, we have Mr. Sylvester Witherspoon. Next, we have Mr. Detron Burgess. Next, Mr. Demorian Banks. Next, we have Mr. Jaquise Davis. Next will be Mr. Trey Austin. Next will be Mr. Kason Bevier. Next will be Mr. Adrian Allen. Next, Mr. Zamir Pierce. Next, Mr. James Robinson. Next, Mr. Catavio Williams. Next will be Mr. Marquavion Higgs. Next, Mr. Darwin Serato. Next, we have Mr. Jamon Squire. Next, we have Mr. Charlie Sutton. Next, we have Mr. Dakari Tyson. Next, we will have Mr. Devon Jackson. Next will be Mr. DeMonte Parker. And last, we will have Mr. Elliot Campbell. These young men worked very hard this season. I want to see they wind up in tied for third in the conference and wind up making it to the playoffs. A lot of these students here are freshmen and sophomore, which means they haven't played any football since the 7th and 8th grade. Some teams played last year. They had a little bit more experience in them, but on the field, you couldn't tell the difference. They held their ground. They did an excellent job. I'm proud of each and every one of these football players and the coaches, especially the head coach, Mr. Stephen Brooker.
Our student athletes are transitioning. Let's give them another hand. Right, thank you so much. We wanted to take this time to recognize our student athletes and to appreciate the job that they have done this school year representing Weldon City Schools. Thank our athletic department, our coaches, and our student athletes all together. Thank them all. All right, we're going to move on now to our building and grounds report.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's nice to see everybody tonight. First agenda is going to be the projects. All right, we have checked at the high lunchroom. The roof. And basically my. At the back, the wall back's done. Front section, clock. It's gonna be one that we get. And that's so, and we changed everything. So, but basically, on the high school, fine, they'll be in place. Well, no, man.
Board members, any questions?
Um,
Ms. Barrett Roberts?
Can you bring us up to date on, I know that the air conditioner was out, and of course, we don't need that now at the elementary schools. I think there was a part or something that you needed. What about the heat pump portion? Are we able to? I am. Mhm.
That's the big project we're getting to bid on, the good units were actually down. So we temporary after this for the cooling part, but believe it or not, between the heat pots and
Between the two, with the cooking now,
they put it on this kind of deal, so. But it's sitting there and working. So hopefully, once we get the bid back, we can go and get it in place and go and replace that right now. But I think it is materials right now.
Anybody else have a question? Go ahead, Ms. Jenkins. You say you got a question, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, where are we at? And I think I've been asking this thing about the old buses and all the more cars. Where are we at? I know one time you said they was going to be auctioned or something like that. So where are we at for us cleaning up that?
children to figure out what. Everybody. And thank y'all.
Hold on one second,
Okay.
Mr. Turner. Thank you for the general building and grounds, I say, as far as our schools are concerned, but we also have a brief discussion with our Sycamore Street property, and all of our board members should have received in their board packet pictures, outline, and the total cost of what these renovations would total. And if my calculation is correct, we're looking at $436,900. That's an estimated amount to renovate the property on Sycamore Street. But Mr. Turner, if you would, I want you to speak to the, for my question with the abatement part,
Right.
because that, I know you referenced the
Yes.
asbestos because of the age of that building that
Yes.
would be in the
Yes.
floor and
And
possibly walls.
And the
And
walls,
the ceiling.
and the walls is gonna be an issue with lead-based paint. That stuff has been sealed and encapsulated. But I don't know if you've been in, the plaster's starting to deteriorate. It's actually crumbling. So basically what needs to be done is the walls need to be restripped and sheetrocked to encapsulate it. So we wouldn't have to go through an abatement charge.
Right.
But then you got the cost of actually reframing it, putting the wall back up. It'd be a wall in front of a wall, but it will look 100% better than what it does now. But that location right there, as far as what needs to be done, the bathroom is going to be an issue to bring them back to code, what they're asking us to do for what's going to be in that building. Because right now, you know, this for pre-K. It's not really accessible for the average person to walk in to use those bathrooms. I don't know if you've been into one of the teachers' lounge, the one they actually used when it was in there. You wouldn't fit in there. When you close the door would be in your kneecaps. And Miss Harrison can tell you about that. So that would have to be really tore out and redone to just actually change the way it actually been made. And actually in that big area where the media center is, that actually played out probably 4 or 5 years ago overall. So that would have to be changed out completely. And then the stage, there's some drawings in there as far as the pictures showing termite damage. So we'd have to tear the stage out completely and actually rebuild all that too. So, but the roof, believe it or not, the roof is the main thing over this in good shape. Because it's only like 8 years old and it's holding up very well.
So basically, excluding this possible quote unquote abatement that we will be looking at, the estimations that is listed here for the total of 436,900. That's really what we would be looking at. I'm just rounding up 440,000.
And you could actually, it depends how far you want to go. If you want to do the whole building or sections, you could do a section if you wanted to, but you're still gonna have to maintain that section. And the section that's not gonna be done, we're gonna have to make sure nobody can go in those areas not being redone. So we can control that by putting gates up, but it depends how far you want to go with it. But basically, it depends how much money you really want to spend. So, but that building's been there for a long time. So.
And board members, I know, you know, when we had our retreat, we talked about doing our best to maintain and to keep this property. And we were talking about the stage area, the auditorium area, possibility of, you know, having different things there. So is this something that you all may want to add to the next month's agenda as an action item? I mean, this is you know, to see where the funds and all will come from, whether ESSER funds would approve that, or, you know, whether it would be something from capital outlay, if it's something that we want to look at maintaining in that respect. Just if we can maybe have a brief conversation about that. How do you all feel? And of course, Mr. Turner said it could be done in sections, you know, if we want to do section by section. I mean,
We just don't need to get like Andrew Jackson did, you know, that went beyond the point of repair at one
right,
point.
exactly. Look to see where funds will possibly come from that we could rehab that building. Ms. Harrison, Ms. Jenkins?
Yeah, because it's a nice building. I would like for us to do something with it, you know. Mhm.
Mr. Williams?
General discussion.
For discussion for next month, see what we,
Mhm.
okay. If we could do that and you know, we have the financial pieces to see if ESSER could be used, or if it would be capital outlay or mixture or portion of both, be nice to explore that.
And
So
then once you decide what you really want, what direction you want to go, we can actually get you a closer price on what you can try to accomplish for what you're trying to get done. So, yeah.
okay, so we could have that in December's board meeting, and I know people may not respond as quick, but if you can, maybe,
Okay.
and Ms. Campbell and Ms. Deborah, if you all would work with that to see where we could get those funds, and Mrs. Austin as well, as far as, you know, the ESSER part. If it's anything that we could do with that, it would be nice to see.
Possibly you're talking about just the first wing when you walk into the front door. Is that what you might want to try to do?
Well, I mean, I
And
don't
it's
know.
made like a horseshoe. So basically when you walked in the front door, you could pick a wing if you wanted to. And we can stage it out in like 3 different stages if you want to go that direction.
I don't know how far, that's why I said if we could look at the funds with capital outlay and ESSER and see, I mean, that will kind of determine if we could do it all, or if we had to take it
Do it in
wing
pieces.
by wing this school year. I think if we could do that, that'll give us a general framework, you know, to start our discussion on whether we want to actually do it wing by wing, or if we could do 2 wings. It all depends upon
That's true.
how the funds will come.
That's
So
true.
if you all could start working on that and be ready to share something next month,
Okay.
I think we could see where we're gonna be anyway.
And we can do that.
All right,
And thank y'all again.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Y'all have a good night.
All right, you too, Mr. Turner. All right, we'll move on to D. Mrs. Campbell, are you ready? All right. I think he sent that, I think I saw that email, we're talking about the same email. And basically, the board had assigned 3 members to meet. So I think it's just a matter of trying to pinpoint a date. The 3 person was Vice Chair, Ms. Bird Robinson, Ms. Hale, and myself. So it's just a matter of trying to get a date, and we'll be in contact. Those 3 persons were chosen, so we'll go from there. Thank you. All right, go ahead, Ms. Campbell.
Good
Apologize for
evening,
that.
that's okay, no problem. Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Merritt, Board Chair, Reverend Sites, board members, staff, and guests. I would like to present to you your monthly financial statements for the month of October 2020-21, beginning with local fund 8. Our beginning revenue is $79,129.56. Total deposit for the month of October was $128,480.46, giving us a net result as of October the 31st, 2020-21 of $207,610.02. Our beginning expenditures is $201,918.62. Total expenditure for the month was $54,668.13, giving us a net result for the year of $256,586.75, giving us a net result for the year as of October the 31st, 2021 of a negative $48,976.73, bringing our unobligated fund balance to $575,658.67. Current expense. Our beginning revenue is $1,043,777.22. I'm sorry, $1,043,777.22. Total deposits for the month was $155,374.45, bringing our year-to-date total to $1,199,151.67. Our beginning expenditures is $418,250.58. Total expenditures for the month was $135,021.06, bringing our year-to-date total to $553,271.64, giving us a net result for the year as of October 31st of $645,880.03, bringing our unobligated fund balance to $2,037,148.31. Capital outlay. Our beginning revenue is $38,913.57. Total deposit for the month was $25,253.48, giving us a year-to-date total of $64,170.05. Our beginning expenditure is $31,523.47. Total expenditures for the month was $4,757.53, giving a year-to-date total of $36,281, making our net result for the year of $27,889.05, bringing our unobligated fund balance to $558,014.05. Child nutrition, beginning revenue is $201,714.22. Total deposit for the month was $64,268.24. Bringing year-to-date total $265,982.46. Our beginning expenditures is $162,867.31. Total expenditures for the month is $79,081.52. Bringing year-to-date total $241,948.83, giving us a net result for the year of $24,033.63, bringing the unobligated fund balance to $299,130.63. Are there any questions on the monthly financial statements for the month of October?
Ms. Campbell, I do have one question. This is not what October, but the revised financial statement for September that you
For child
submitted,
nutrition, okay.
that you
Mr.
submitted with us.
Yes.
If you can just notate it.
What it was, Ms. Garner advised me that she had posted her revenue, so I can do the financials, but she hadn't posted her commodities, right? The inventory, she had posted inventory. After I did the financial statements right after she closed out child nutrition, she posted her revenue, but she still has to post inventory. And I put the clock before the horse. I went on and did my financial statements. And when I went in to do the October, I was out of balance. And when I went back to rerun the report to see what happened, it was the inventory that was not posted.
Okay.
So now I know I have to wait until she posts inventory before I do the actual report. now.
Okay, all right. I was just trying to see the discrepancies from
Yeah,
what
it
I
was
looked
the
at in
inventories,
September.
right? It was
Okay,
the
all
inventory.
right.
And I talked with Ms. Garner, so now I know I needed to wait until she actually posts the inventory so it can show up on the
All right.
report.
Both of y'all on the same page now?
Yes.
All right, good, good. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
I just,
I'll let her know when the report is done.
Yeah.
okay,
Before she posts.
all right. As long as y'all got it together, because I just don't want you
Right.
to, you know, as far as the,
Mhm.
got the report ready and then, you know, something out of
Right.
whack and you got to go back and run the
Right.
report again. Yeah, so, all right. Any questions on the financials?
What'd you put the other, Thomas? Did you put them up here? The financial statements? Amendments, yeah. Okay, okay,
I got mine.
okay. You ready for that piece?
We have no other questions? Financial?
No.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah, we ready.
At this time, I'm requesting for approval, state amendment number 4 through 6, local amendment number 10 through 12, and federal amendments 8 and 9 for approval from the board for the month of November. If there's no questions.
Except for the month of November. Are you, this is for October, right?
No, these are November amendments.
Okay, okay, okay. I got you. Any questions on the amendments? All right, Ms. K. Robinson.
the local amendments, number 12. Next call for $10,610.
That is coming from the actual grant. This is the COVID testing grant. And when the grant was written, indirect cost was added into the figure. So that'll be funds that come back into the local budget. That's the total amount. Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh.
Any other questions? Oh, okay. Any questions?
No, I don't.
Mr. Redmond, did Ms. Hale ever give you? She did? Okay. Okay. Ms. Hale, do you have any questions?
No, I'm fine.
All right, thank you so much. I just wanted to make sure you were with us. I didn't want to keep on going and we hadn't heard from you. Thank you so much. All right. If no other questions, motion is in order to approve the amendments.
Motion to approve amendments.
Second.
Motion has been moved by Mr. Williams and seconded by Mrs. Bird Robinson that we approve the aforementioned amendments. You heard that motion. Is there any further discussion on readiness? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Hale? She said, okay. Ms. Jenkins?
Yes.
Ms. Bird Robinson? Ms. K. Robinson? O.D. Sykes, aye. Let the record reflect unanimous approval of the amendments for November 18, 2021. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ms. Campbell, before you go, let me say this to you. I'm quite sure this entire board expresses the same sentiments if they have not said it to you individually. Of course, we do relay these sentiments as a board. We're certainly happy that you are doing very, very well, that you are healthy and that you are maintaining.
I am.
And we are certainly glad that you are continuing to improve and make steady progress. And we certainly hope that you continue to do just that.
Thank you so very
All
much.
right.
And thank you so much for your prayers.
All right. All right, moving on to E with our instruction report.
Good evening, board chair, board members, Dr. Merritt, colleagues, guests, and families. We're going to start with a little good news. We had the Military Expo on November 9th, and these are some of our scholars from Weldon Middle School. We also have our Uyghur Kindergarten tree tributes, and that's at the Center for Energy Education. Testing and school accountability, pre-ACT, the window closes on tomorrow. ACT work keys, we had our fall administration on today, and that went very well. We have Math 1 and 3 at our vet. Those are the only fall EOCs we'll have. And that window is December 15th through 21st. And we actually had our EOC testing training today. Virtual Academy. It began on November 8th, 2021, and the virtual learners by school are listed. At our elementary school, we have 6, middle school 7, early college 2, and at our high school 7. And Ms. Datton Allen is not here tonight because she's at the EC conference, so I will present her updates for her. She's actually at the 70th conference on exceptional children, and Mr. Corey Odom, who is a teacher at our middle school is the educator of excellence for Weldon City Schools. So we also received 50 food bank food line gift cards, and they will be used for purchasing meat for the food currency in the food pantry. And that's the weekend power pack. We're applying for tours for tots through Halifax County, and the Say Something Anonymous Reporting System student training was held October 25th through November 8th.
Good evening, everybody. Board Chair, board members, superintendent, and all in attendance. Federal programs, we've completed our summer bridge application, and since this was submitted, we were approved. We've received approval from DPI on that summer bridge program. We have funds to provide additional support for our students during the summer in collaboration with CTE and our regular curriculum. All of our schools have either planned or have conducted their Title I annual meetings. They have handbooks and compacts for our parents. So as we talk about family and community engagement, I want to kind of remind everybody that this month is National Parent Engagement Month. And so we've also reached out to family and community members. So what I'm going to talk about first is our Employee of the Month, how we've worked with the partnership again this month with community partners to help us with choosing our Employee of the Month. And with this, we get selections through the schools, from administration, colleagues. And so at this time, we want to kind of recognize those community members as well. We also received from our community a Walmart donation. So I would like to show just a quick thank you video on behalf of that. And as you can see, we had a lot of supplies that were donated. And the way we distributed them was we let the teachers make appointments so that we didn't have an influx of teachers in the building at one time. And they had like a 10-minute period to come in and just select all of the supplies. So it was like Christmas in November. For our Students of the Month, we have a partnership. Our partnership is with Chick-fil-A and Roanoke Rapids Theater. Each one of our Student of the Month will receive a ticket to the movies that they can utilize within 30 days, as well as a dinner from Chick-fil-A. They can choose the Chick-fil-A sandwich with fries and a drink, or they can use the chicken nuggets and fries. So this month, our students are Shamaya Benjamin. Shamaya is a preschool student at Weldon Elementary Global Academy. The school was proud to announce her because she's always calm and respectful. She's very helpful and shows kindness to her teachers and classmates. She's eager to learn and always raises her hand to participate in classroom discussions. So Weldon Elementary Global Academy is very proud to have her there, as well as representing them as Student of the Month. We also have Nicholas Barkley, a 6th grader at Weldon Middle School. Nicholas is an outstanding student and a joy to teach. Although he is generally a quiet student, he is extremely respectful and always willing to lend a helping hand around the classroom. He doesn't mind helping his peers and interacting with them, and he exemplifies leadership in the classroom by asking clarifying questions in regards to the assignments and class lessons. Nicholas always helps his peers when needed, and he's always willing to help his teacher as well. He's a true model of a stellar student at Weldon Middle School. We have for Weldon STEM High School, Letitia Briggs, who's an 11th grader, well known by many as Abby. She's currently has a 3.25 GPA. Very friendly, diligent, and sociable amongst fellow peers and her staff within the educational setting, as well as definite proximity of her presence. She's very outgoing and displays a great deal of proudness within her personal and education goals. In conjunction to ensuring her priorities are met, she's very motivated in efforts to uplift others within their educational journey. And last, we have Ms. Shamaya Bowser, who's a 10th grader at Roanoke Valley Early College. She's demonstrated extra effort in completing her assignments in spite of personal medical challenges that prevented her from being in class regularly. She has stayed in class during her free block, found a quiet place to study and working during lunch, and has maintained a positive attitude all the way. So when we see these students, make sure that you tell them you heard about them at the Weldon City Schools Board of Education meeting, and let's give them all a hand at this time. We will get their signs delivered to their yards so that their community will know that they're Student of the Month, as well as their gifts. Our Employee of the Month, again, that was selected on behalf of our community members, is Miss Jackie McGee. Miss McGee, would you please come forward? Ms. McGee was, I will say, was submitted by more than one person. There were several individuals that had submitted her name based on her willingness to support the district in means beyond and well without complaints. I understand, and I've left my sheet, Ms. McGee, so I'm doing it from up here, if you forgive me. There's submissions that I remember that were in the package, stated that how you assist with making sure the students are in the right classes, communicating with your fellow colleagues, ensuring students had received whatever supports that they may need, and how you were a very diligent person when it comes to advocating for the students at Weldon STEM High School and Roanoke Valley Early College. So they were saying how you managed to wear those multiple hats. So as Employee of the Month is bestowed upon Mrs. Jacqueline McGee in recognition of your passion and commitment to Weldon City Schools on November the 18th, 2021, Reverend O.D. Sykes, Board Chair, and Dr. Michael Merrick, Superintendent. And if we could get a photo op. And she will also get her $50 gift card on behalf of the district. She wants Chick-fil-A too. Did we want to do a photo?
Yeah, that's fine.
Matilda. As we're taking the photo, I want to also share that Miss McGee will get a sign in her yard as well.
All right.
Huh? She got the $50 gift card. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King.
So as we celebrate Parent of the Month, we have asked each school to select a parent from their school to highlight this month for Parent of the Month. These parents will also receive, and we're going to share that with you in a moment, signs in their yards as well as incentives for being Parent of the Month. We have from Weldon Elementary, Miss Alicia Wilkins. She's the parent of Michaela Wilkins there at Weldon STEM High School. She was selected because she has been a very supportive parent throughout the years at Weldon Elementary. She is very involved in her child's education and supports Weldon Elementary in various events and activities. Weldon Elementary would like to thank you, Ms. Wilkins, for all that you do, submitted on behalf of Ms. Jeffers and the school staff of Weldon Elementary School. For Weldon Middle School, we have Ms. Conetta Robinson. She's the mother of Elijah Skipwith. Ms. Robinson is viable and valuable part of our team and family at Weldon STEM Middle School. She assists in many areas throughout the school, including mentoring our 6th grade students, assisting with cheerleaders, and speaking to our students about making good choices. Ms. Robinson is always willing to do whatever it takes for all of our students. She truly cares about her students, our staff, and our school. She never hesitates to be here for our students, whether it's preparing meals or making sure they have what they need. She has a kind and giving heart, which is much needed during these most difficult times in education. And for these and many more reasons, we would like to honor Ms. Kenetta Robinson. We truly are blessed to have her on our team. That was submitted by Mrs. Robinson, the principal, and her staff at Weldon STEM Middle School. We have from Roanoke Valley Early College, and I like to see this a lot. We have Ms. Shante Bowser. And I want to highlight the student of the month from RVEC was also her child. So we know that parent engagement, it shows. So Ms. Bowser is always a pleasure to be around. She advocates for her child in a way that is both respectful and admired. Her concern and support for Shamaya to get the best education available is easily seen through her communication with her teachers and school administration. As a staff, we know we can count on her if we needed anything and appreciate her involvement as an RVEC parent. So if you see these parents in the community, please continue to encourage and let them know that we appreciate them. So as you can see, we're promoting, we're sending out postcards to our families. Family Engagement Month, we want to salute all of our families. Weldon City Schools is grateful for our families' contributions in providing support at school and at home that promotes academic success. So we wanted to do a showcase of parents, and these showcase of parents will be our ambassadors for Weldon City Schools. We're going into a marketing of saying to our parents, we thank you, not just November, but for throughout the school year. We have with our showcase, Weldon Middle School, Mr. Major Alston Jr., Weldon Elementary, Ms. Brooke Bolden, Weldon Middle School, Mr. Darrell Bourne, Weldon Middle, Ms. Vicki Johnson Bourne, Weldon Elementary, Michelle Bradley Green. We have Ms. Beth Geis from Weldon Middle School, Ms. Tia Martin from Weldon STEM High School, and Ms. Tori Robinson. What we've done is we're going to complete and putting yard signs in the parents' yard. Weldon City Schools, as you can see, this is what the signs will look like. Salutes, and this is Ms. Tia Martin. Just as the same that's on our card, we are grateful for our family's contribution. So these, as you ride by, you will see, this is Ms. Robinson's. This is Mr. Major Alston. And so we have one for each, but we wanted to just kind of show you where we're going and how we're promoting our district with our parents as well, because we know that they are the key to our students' success.
Ms. Austin, are the students of the month, are they virtual on their own? Are they invited to come out?
They were invited to come out, and tonight, when we sent out the communication that they were student of the month. And then also, as you noticed tonight at 5:30, I did just a last final call. I did a call on Sunday. I've talked to, I've personally called each one of them. And so basically, I've got gifts here just in case they did. I wanted to have everything here if they came. So, but they have, yes, sir, been invited.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Y'all know it's a pleasure for me to serve, especially parent involvement is my heart. So.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Austin.
Good evening.
Evening.
Good evening, Board Chair, Dr. Myrick, as well as board members, guests, and staff. I stand before you to do the calendar revisions presentation, not school health yet. But tonight, what I have to do is what Dr. Myrick has asked me to do, is I want to present the school calendar revisions to you all for approval. Last month, we brought forth revisions for to change our academic calendar, to add in some teacher work days. We found out after our board meeting that those days could not be categorized as remote learning, but they had to be categorized as optional. As teacher work days. And so tonight, we are bringing those dates back to you just for your review, discussion, and approval, that we may call these days teacher work days now as opposed to remote learning days. November 12th, November 22nd and 23rd, and February 28th were optional teacher work days. And May 6th, we're asking that be just labeled teacher work day, and it may be a required day because that's close to testing time. And so we may need to make that a required or mandatory. So primarily, the reason why I'm here tonight is to go back and ask that you all please allow us to categorize these days as teacher work days, because general statute will not allow us to call them remote learning.
Yes, right here. Ms. K. Rouse.
You said February 28th would be optional as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Because we have required.
It's required.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the document in my phone. I'm sorry, I don't have the ones you have. It's required. Thank you.
Okay. My second question is, those three optional. Those two optional work days, the 22nd and 23rd of November, are teachers allowed to work from home, or they have to come on campus?
It's designed for them to come on campus to work. Unless it's the pleasure of the board, you all want to allow them to work from home.
I thought that was one of the purposes of us putting things into the calendar because of mental health, getting them rested.
Which is one of the reasons why we were thinking just optional day, because if you say you work from home, they really aren't gonna get the mental health and the respite because they're still gonna be working. But I can see both ways. So whichever way you want to choose, we can communicate it to our team.
So home still, right? The books
Yes.
and I thought it was the intent.
Okay.
That's just my.
To your point, Ms. K. Robinson, I think we need to have some clear direction tonight, because if it's gonna be an optional work day for the teachers, as we talked about, I think we need to clarify what type of option they have, whether it's gonna be mandatory, that they come on campus, or that they can work from home. I think we need to clarify that just so everybody knows clearly what we're doing, where we're going. It's so, because next week, those are the days.
I think Dr. Mark said that day was required, right? Is that the one that you were saying it's required?
No, that was February 28th. Talking about Monday and Tuesday are both optional days, yes.
So what do you all say? They are optional, yes, but are they gonna have the option to work from home, or is it gonna be required or asked of them rather to, they gonna, work, that they have to work on campus?
I certainly can support if they can do what the teachers can, and assistants as well. If they can't fulfill their duties at home, then I'm perfectly fine with giving that option.
Jenkins, Ms. Harrison, Ms. Hale? What are your thoughts?
If they can complete the work at home, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And when I say teachers and teacher assistant, I mean any person on our staff, so it could be someone that does central office, you know, just having that option to work remotely. That can.
So basically, if I'm understanding you all correctly, it's an optional work day. It can't be just, you know, a remote work day because the state will not allow us to do that.
Correct.
But we can create, I think, within the option, whether they actually come in person or they do it virtually. That's what I'm hearing the majority of the board say.
So if they are doing virtual, do we do telework logs? That they come in to show that they are working?
Let us defer to Attorney Malone.
Just be optional.
Well, you can't have a virtual.
Right.
Other than, I'm not aware of any online. So if you put that, if you're really going to change the only thing, or whatever capacity.
So with that being said, I think we can give the employee the option to be remote or in person. That's what I'm hearing, if I understood the legal verbiage correct. That's what you're basically saying, right?
How do you want to handle your teacher days this year in general? I'm not aware of any. Yeah, but I'm not aware of any issues about how you want to. You just can't have. It's just the virtual student days are not allowed in your calendar. You can have them if there's one of those. I know we have 5 emergency days. You can't just plan virtual.
And the only thing that I've seen is that we just can't allow teachers to not work and not take leave. So they will have to actually.
Okay, well, with that being said, I think a happy consensus would be, Attorney Malone, can we get you to make sure that we are safe as far as the days? And I'm quite sure you probably can let us know tomorrow or communicate. Yeah, or tomorrow is communicated to us tomorrow, and we could probably just approve the days tonight being optional, virtual or in-person days contingent upon if it's any prohibition.
Right, I mean, you can arguably just, from the board's perspective, we make it optional work.
Okay.
And let the superintendent and staff and the administration sort that.
Good enough. All right. Any other comment or question on that? Do we need to, we need a motion on this?
The November 22nd and 23rd, optional teacher work days. Everything will just go today.
Just those?
Everything?
Yeah, we're proving everything.
Okay.
All the days.
I move that we accept the 21-22 school academic calendar revision to include November 22nd and 23rd as optional teacher work days, and they can be done remotely. In person.
And 28th and February
They are
28th.
required.
Right.
Okay, November 12th, optional, November 22nd and 23rd, optional, February 28th required, and May 6th required.
Motion has been moved and properly seconded that we approve the revisions to our academic 2021-2022 school calendar with the aforementioned dates, November the 12th, 22nd and 23rd, and February 28th, and May the 6th of the respective years, and whether they are optional or required work days. You heard that motion. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Ms. Jenkins, Ms. Hale,
Aye.
Sykes, aye. Ms. Bird Robinson. Aye. Ms. K. Robinson.
Aye.
And Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Let the record reflect unanimous approval of the 2021-2022 school academic calendar.
Again, I am going to pass around a one-page document. And this is a synopsis of our annual restart report, which is due on December 1st. So what I've done in this document is I've listed used in our district for the 2021 academic year. So I just want to say that some of these may be different for this school year. I have the school names listed across the top. The cohort is the year in which the school started. I also have a little key under there, and then the flexibilities used. I've highlighted the flexibilities that we used last school year. And I just want to mention that some of these flexibilities may not be used this school year. Okay, are there any questions?
And I will add to Ms. Martin, the principals have been working with people from the Office of District and School Transformation
Mhm.
at DPI with their annual reports to make sure that we are submitting those reports with the appropriate information on those. So the principals, again, have been working with those people, and they have been meeting one-on-one with the consultant from
Yes.
DPI.
So they met with Judy and Robert, as well as Michael Taranto.
Yes.
Any questions?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, Robert.
Ms. Martin, when you complete and the principals complete what they need to do, can we get a copy of the final report, please? Yes. Thank you.
Any other questions? Was this for information, or we need a motion on this particular report? I thought it was, yeah, I thought it was for information.
Yes, this is for,
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
and once the schools finish their final reports, there will be required a signature from you, Mr. Chair, as well as from me and Ms. Campbell.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening once again. Time for school. Our school health report, how are we doing? I've talked about, or I shared this presentation with you all to give you some of our information and data that we are having or going on now with our school health plan and program, our COVID testing program. In our weekly screening, we have about 121 participants, students and staff enrolled. And also, we are also increasing our compliance percentage with regard to wearing face coverings in students, with students and staff, as you can see with our data that was collected as of October 1. So there has been some other work that has been going on within our schools. Face coverings, where we do weekly walkthroughs with observations by the facilitate and follow-up conversations with the principals, as well as we now have 2 school nurses on staff, and our school nurse collaborates with our student services to help our teachers talk to our children about preventive care. Where do we go from here? One of the things that I wanted to share with you all, last month, we brought the community college MOU that we are trying to develop a collaborative partnership with the nursing department at Halifax Community College. So I would like to bring that MOU back before the board to get your approval. Last month, I shared with you that there were some errors, and we shared it also with Attorney Malone, and the errors were completed, and I believe in your packets, the final MOU was attached. So what we are hoping to do with under the supervision of our school nurses, we are hoping to have some students in the nursing department here provide receive some of their clinical experiences at our schools. Under the direct supervision of the student nursing director here, as well as our own school nurses. When I met with our school nurses earlier this week, we talked about some potential things that those students could do because we do want to preserve the confidentiality of our students and our staff. And some of those things include clerical support regarding answering phones or filing or tracking our PPE inventory. Also observing the school nurse with the students, as well as with classroom interactions to develop those soft skills. Also attend nurse trainings or meetings as observers only, and to support the development of our health clinics that are being offered, such as dental, vision, and in our K-12 testing program. So with your approval, we would like to continue with this endeavor with Halifax Community College Nursing Department. Do you all have any questions?
Question? Ms. Gates, go ahead, Ms.
I read
Gates.
the MOU. My only question was, with the, how we ensuring that the nurses are not bringing COVID to our students? Are they being tested?
Yes, they will also have to be tested, and they will also have to wear the preventative mask and follow the school rules just as we are in our own district.
How often are they tested?
They, according to the director of nursing, we set that up. We said we have our conversation with them, and we are requiring weekly. They're only coming to us two to 3 days a week. We have to identify is it 2 days or 3 days once you all give us approval, but then we set up the testing schedule as well.
Will they be able to test it like our staff here or now?
We can enroll them in our program as long as we have an agreement with them.
That sounds good. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there other questions? Motion is in order to approve the memorandum of understanding.
Uh-oh.
I move to get the Halifax Community College MOU with the nursing program.
Motion has been moved by Ms. Kay Robinson and seconded by Vice Chair Mrs. Bird Robinson to approve the memorandum of understanding between Weldon City Schools and Halifax Community College. You heard that motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Ms. Hale? You still with us?
I am, yet I.
Okay. Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Is Kay Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Bird Robinson?
Aye.
Sykes, aye. Ms. Jenkins? Ms. Jenkins?
What's that?
Oh, I didn't hear you. Ms.
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Let the record reflect unanimous approval of the four stated motion. All right.
Thank you so much. Now, as we do each month, in accordance with Senate Bill 654, our school board has to vote at least once a month on whether the face covering policy should be modified. Our current policy is listed as all staff, students, and visitors are required to wear face coverings, face shield, or mask at all indoor settings, including the central office unless a documented exception exists. Students will receive mask-free breaks during the instructional day in open air spaces with proper physical distancing between adults. Individuals visiting the school building or attending school events indoors, including athletics, are required to wear a face covering. All unvaccinated student athletes and coaches are required to wear face coverings at all times. And vaccinated student athletes and coaches have the option to wear a face covering. Face coverings for spectators outdoors is optional. I present this policy to you all for review. I do want to add a couple of pieces of information for you to help with the discussion. You all are aware that we're going into basketball season now, so our practices and our games are indoors. We do, because our policy states that all unvaccinated student athletes and coaches are required to wear face coverings at all times. This includes active play. I know it's been some conversation with you all over the coming months, but now we're here at this point. Our school nurses are able to, where they have access to the immunization records of our students only, because they are considered their patients. And when our students get vaccinated, it goes to the state register, so our nurses can see what vaccinated or not, but that's the confidentiality piece that we're keeping in place. Now, what we found, because we requested and I talked with AD Lynch about it, we requested the rosters of all the teams, the basketball teams, cheerleaders, etc., so that we can verify, so that we can identify if our policy is being enforced. What we found so far is that we do have some students on one or more of our teams that are unvaccinated. So according to our policy, they are supposed to wear face coverings at all times including active play. So we're here at this moment now, where we have to say, are we gonna continue with our current policy? Or are we gonna allow for some additional measures that may require that we need to amend this? One suggestion that I did receive when I was speaking with our nurses about it, we do have our testing program in place. So one suggestion was, well, can we just require that the unvaccinated athletes have to be tested? And I said, only if the board required mandates. We don't have that. Remember, our testing program is voluntary right now. And I do want to let you know that a large part of our athletes are not enrolled in our testing program. So it would take you all to say, look, you have to be tested if you're unvaccinated. That was just a suggestion. Another suggestion was, if they are enrolled in the testing program, then maybe they should not have to wear that mask. And so I'm just putting this out here on the table for you all. I did follow up with Mr. Robusto, and I talked to him about what his thoughts were. And so he did say that unvaccinated athletes should be wearing masks at all times. He said because of the heat, the sweat, and all of the closeness of them, even at play, the virus can easily spread. So I asked him also about the testing, and he did affirm, he said, testing is good, but it does not take the place of them wearing masks. So I wanted to present these information to you all for your discussion as we move forward. Last bit of information I want to share. Today, and I don't know if you all saw it on the news, North Carolina has, according to the community transmission, the case community transmissions, North Carolina now has been deemed yellow. And Mr. Robusto wanted me to share with you all that because we are deemed yellow, and that means that we are a county of moderate to low levels for at least 7 consecutive days, then school leaders can consider making face coverings optional for vaccinated individuals. So that's another piece of information I want to share. That's just for vaccinated. And he said that if we continue to go in the direction that our county is going in, I think the next level is blue. And then I think the last one is white, or I might have it mixed up. But he said at the point that we get to white, the mask mandates can be taken away completely. So that's the information I want to share with you all. I know it was kind of a lot, but I felt it was necessary as we visit the policy for this month.
Yeah, hold on one second, Ms. Jenkins. Oh, go ahead, Ms. Jenkins. Go ahead. She said she yielded to you. Go ahead.
Ms. Deborah. My question is, if we go to another school, say we vote, you know, and then we go to another school and they require that they have to wear masks, then how can you explain that to me a little bit then? Because some schools might go different than we are, then they go there, and then, so now how would that, what situation would they put us?
You're exactly right. And I'm going to yield to Mr. Lynch, if he could please stand and help me address this issue.
But if that was to happen, then I would explain, I would already explain to my students that.
Mr. Lynch, if you would come to the mic.
If that was to happen, Ms. Jenkins, then our students would be ineligible to play at that school if they decide that they did not want to wear the mask. So then they would be ineligible to play at that school. Yes.
The key being the homeschool school.
Yes.
Well, I look, I stated like I've said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it a little differently tonight. Weldon City School is gonna end up with a lawsuit if we expect cheerleaders and our basketball players to be cheering and putting all into it and running up and down the court, exerting themselves. It's just common sense. Sweat and all of that, we're gonna end up with a lawsuit. We know how hot that gym is. We know we don't have any air conditioning in there. And even if we did, a student athlete exerting themselves, when you are running, your heart is racing and pumping blood. And if you are restricting your airway, trying to participate in that, and coaches coaching, we're gonna end up with a lawsuit. I don't care whether they vaccinated or not. I mean, that's just what it is. Or what you're gonna end up having, board members, is student athletes that are not gonna play. Because I don't know about you all, but players have already said, vaccinated or not, they ain't running up and down no court, exerting themselves with their heart and their athletic program. They've already said it.
And Mr. Sykes, I may have misunderstood the question, but I thought they was talking about away from Weldon.
No. She was talking about away from Weldon, and Attorney Malone answered the question and said that the home school where you're playing at, their rules would apply.
Yes.
We get that, but I'm talking about here at Weldon right now. I'm talking about us here at home.
My answer was not, for what we're doing here at Weldon.
I know,
Yes.
I know. Yeah, we got that.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it. That you clear with what you answered, the home school, but I'm just talking to this board right now. Exerting yourself, running up and down the court, our student athletes. And I just say to the board, would you all do it? Good. I heard what you said, if it's policy, but I'm talking about the physical ability of being able to do that. There's gonna be a hindrance. And you can't take it off to breathe, to catch your breath or anything. I'm just talking about, and everybody vote how they vote. And I just put it out there. I'm gonna say absolutely not for our student athletes. And if I'm outvoted, I live with what the majority of the board say. I mean, all of us have our right to our opinion and we state it, but that's where I am. And I mean, there are even some parents that would not come to their own child's games in the season that just ended when our student athletes had to play volleyball in the gym because they couldn't stand to see their child running up and down the court sweating and gasping for air. And you have student athletes that are asthmatic. And everybody that went to elementary school, I'm just gonna say it, all of us did. It's just common sense. You inhale oxygen, you exhale carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a toxic waste that your body produces that damages your heart, your lungs, your liver, and your kidneys after a period of time. That's just common sense. We learned that. The process of photosynthesis. Trees inhale your carbon dioxide to produce your oxygen for us to breathe. That's just common sense. We learned that in elementary school. Now, boy, it's up to us what we do, but I'm just stating me and the feedback that I have gotten concerning going in, as you said, Ms. Deborah, now that basketball season, will begin. I'm not talking about spectators. Spectators are going to be sitting in the stand. I ain't talking about spectators. I'm talking about our student athletes actually participating in the physical activity. That's just going to be a hard pill to swallow for anybody. And I know I wouldn't do it. I can't do it. And I have my everything as far as, I just can't do it. I'm talking about me, but if somebody else can do it, I mean, that's up to you. But I know I wouldn't subject my child, and I'm not willing to subject anybody else's child to that doing physical play or the coaches trying to make calls. How in the world the players gonna hear them? Coaches making a call, how the players gonna hear them? Yes, ma'am, go right ahead.
You gave a suggestion from the nurses, Ms. Deborah,
Mhm.
said that, could they get tested weekly if they were unvaccinated? Was that, a suggestion to say that they might not need to have to wear the mask while in play if they were willing to enroll in our program and get tested weekly?
Right, that was one of the suggestions, in lieu of giving them time to get vaccinated or letting North Carolina get to the point where we remove mask mandates. And I did run that suggestion by Mr. Robusto. And he said that even if you test them once a week, and if they go play a game, unless you test and find out right then before, you don't know if they're transmitted. You don't know if they still can, if they still can give off the virus during the run, because just the testing is one moment, one instance. And so like if we test, Mr. Lynch and I had talked previously at the very beginning of the year, testing on Wednesday. And so then, you can, so the games were like Friday. But then, as Mr. Robusto said, they're unvaccinated. So suppose they get it Thursday, we wouldn't know. So he said it's still putting the ones in play around them without masks at risk. So that's why he said masks are the way to go. And I did go on to ask him about the exertion on the body. And his comment to me was, he said, air is so thin, it can get into anything. He said, so it's not going to hurt them to have the mask. But he did say they do need the mask breaks. So if they're having the mask on, and I think we had talked before about making sure the seats were spaced, give them the time to have a break, if that's he said the primary thing that he sees happening is anxiety. The physical, just having the mask on, because he said they are going to breathe, but they're going to feel like it's not because it's hot. So, and the anxiety from that can cause increased heart rate in itself. So,
and the heat is carbon dioxide. I mean, it's plain and simple. And what I don't hear you saying, and all of y'all watch news, is the people that's quote unquote done had the shot is the ones that's sick.
In some cases.
I mean, so we can't just talk a conversation about shot or not. I just don't get it. I mean, because that's a person's choice. And even being tested is a voluntary thing.
That's right.
I mean, but that's just my little spiel, but
I have another question.
Oh, yeah, go right ahead.
What's the face shield versus the mask?
The face shield is intended to be worn with the mask, because even though if you have the face shield, because it could be knocked off.
Right.
But it just in sitting in general, the air with your mouth still uncovered, the air just disseminates around the shield. So it was intended to have your mask on with the shield, but our policy says covering. So I mean, if that's what we require.
Face mask, glass.
Cover, right, shield, and that's what our policy say. And that's what we promote. However, most of our student athletes and our students don't want to wear the shield. They prefer to either put the mask on or they don't wear a mask at all, so they have the options, but the nurses do say they offer, but the kids just say, we'll put the mask on. And that's fine as long as you in open space. But when you're up close and personal and you can transmit the virus, we've done very well in Weldon with our lack of positive cases. We've done very well. That's why I'm taking the time now for us to be clear in what we're doing now that we're going inside. So.
Is it possible for them to get tested on game day?
Mhm.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, Tuesdays and Fridays?
Yes.
Is that possible?
Yes, in our K-12 testing program, our nurses can test right then and they can get the results within 15 minutes. We have the rapid test for individuals. And we're looking at about 10% of our athletes are unvaccinated right now, the ones that we've seen. So, and then we look at, we had the conversation about, well, if they have masks and they don't have masks, kids can tell the difference in who's vaccinated, who's not. Our policy is set up that way right now, because unvaccinated have to wear the mask, our face coverings at all times. But the vaccinated can have options, but Mr. Lynch and I, we were talking earlier, some students are vaccinated and still wear the mask.
True.
Because we do know just because you vaccinated doesn't mean you can't spread it, because you still can. So, but that's what our policy right now, that's how it's set up.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
With the mask, or not having wear the mask if they vaccinated. I think that's pretty good. I think that if you have an athlete that wants to play, if they get tested twice a week, then I think that would be sufficient if it's on Wednesday or Monday and Wednesday, or game day twice a week to verify that they are clean. I think that's good. I mean, even with the shots, they can get it, but we talking about the higher percentage of being protected. I would hate for someone to go in there not vaccinated at all, and then you give it to the whole team. I mean, the chances are that they get the vaccination. If they're not vaccinated, if they're tested twice, then they don't have to wear the mask. If they've been vaccinated, they don't have to wear the mask. And to me, if they don't want to get tested and don't want to get the vaccination, then they don't play. I mean, it's just that simple, because you're putting everybody else at risk. And I don't believe putting everybody at risk is worth taking that chance. The likelihood of death or whatever the case may be, I just don't see it. So I see the vaccination twice a week, not vaccination, test twice a week, and if they or they vaccinate. That's my thoughts on that.
Anyone else?
Yes, I would like to share.
Go ahead, Mr.
I've been observing these basketball players for the last 3 weeks now. I've explained to them, if they're vaccinated, They have the option to wear the mask. If they're not vaccinated, they have to wear the mask the whole while they're in the gym. And my students athlete has been following the rules. Like she said, maybe about 10 to 15% of them that wear masks every day. I believe in my students and I trust my students. So when they come in there with masks on, that's telling me that these students are not vaccinated. I don't want to be caught up pressuring my kids to show me proof of their vaccination when they're already coming in the gym with the mask on. That is telling me that. I don't think that I'm just talking about me as an AD and my coaches. We should not be made to produce rosters for those medical purposes to verify whether our students are vaccinated or not. Since this year started, there have only been one known COVID-19 case amongst the athletes. So I think that what we're doing is working. I think that this is just my opinion. I'd always tell you, I don't want to weigh in on anything, just my opinion. I think that it's okay to let the students that are vaccinated, wear the mask if it's optional, as an option, let that be optional. Students that are unvaccinated, wear the mask during practice and during the game. And I think that that is enough right there. And I'm gonna tell you why, because I spoke with the commissioner of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association today. And she said that, and I asked her, was it legal for me to produce these documents and to ask whether they've been vaccinated or ask to show proof of vaccination? And she said, I'm gonna tell you like this, Mr. Lynch, I advise you to go to your board along with the attorney. Did somebody say that's not true? What I'm saying is very true. You could call Q Tucker. She said you need to go back to your board along with your attorney and ask them, what do they have in place to follow those procedures? And I would tell you like this, Mr. Lynch, good luck on that. About 1240, something like that. So I think what we have in place is working. I agree that we continue doing that because the kids are listening, they're doing what we're asking them to do. If they wear the mask, I assume that they are unvaccinated. And I don't want to keep asking them to bring me proof. If you guys want to do that, I think that it's just my opinion. Let that be between the nurse and put it in place first, and let it be between the nurse and the parent. That's just my opinion.
And that's the intention. The nurses and I, we met, and it's going to come. That's what I meant when I said earlier, the nurses can look at their immunization, have conversation with the parents to protect their confidentiality. It's not spread all over the district. Nobody knows anybody's situation but the medical professionals.
But you just said, Ms. Deborah, we have looked at this amount of students. That's
Right.
what you just said.
Right, that's what I said.
That we include you.
We have looked, and I looked at numbers. I don't look at children.
Okay.
She tells me how many children are cleared and how many are not. I have to do that because if the policy states unvaccinated student athletes, we don't know who's unvaccinated. There's the only legal way that I could think of for us to get that information is through medical, which our nurses have access because when you're vaccinated, it's automatically uploaded to the immunization record. And the nurses can see that. They're the only ones. So they give me numbers.
And those numbers are accurate, and Deborah was telling you around about 10%, because I invited Nurse Reed into my practice to see the number of students that's running around with masks on, to let her see that the kids are doing what we're asking them to do. So I don't want to continue asking them to show me proof.
Right.
So those numbers are all right.
All right. We don't want to get on a long song and dance. We just need to make a decision there. I think everybody that wanted to speak. Ms. Hale, She still with us? Okay, all right. No other question or comment, then a motion is in order.
Ms. Sykes. Let me ask Mr. Lynch.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Lynch.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you said that they have been practicing with the mask on.
Yes, maybe about 10 to 15% of my students, basketball players. And that started after I explained the rules to them from the last board meeting. Now, Coach, I think what you have in place is excellent. I just don't think that as an AD or a coach that we should continue pressuring these students to show proof. That's the point I want to get across. But we're going to implement whatever you guys put in place, but that's just my thought because, you know, I be in the gym and I've heard Mr. Sykes mention this. It gets extremely hot in there during basketball season. And I tried to have a conversation during the volleyball game with Mr. Waddy, and I think it was 84 degrees in the gym, and I had trouble. I had to pull down a mask every now and then.
Okay, let me ask you though, if you submit your roster to the nurses and the nurse confirm back to you which ball players are vaccinated, it wouldn't be any need to ask them again.
No, but I just didn't know if it was legal for me to give the nurse the roster for those purposes. That's why I did not give the roster. And I also spoke with some of my coaches and other individuals about making sure, let's wait till after today so we can have clarity on whether it's legal or not to disclose those rosters for those purposes.
Mr. Long, would it be legal for him to get his roster to nurse and the nurse verify those athletes that have been vaccinated? So they won't have to continue to ask them if they are vaccinated.
For me to disclose a roster for that purpose. For the purpose.
And she verified the athletes that are vaccinated and give it back to the head coach. Then he wouldn't have to ask, or she wouldn't have to continue to ask.
I have to take that part.
So she would call the parent.
Yeah, I have to
And the
take that.
parent would then email or bring the card in if they are vaccinated.
Well, what he's saying, or what Deborah says, that's not necessary.
It's going to the immunization
I
rep.
mean, they can confirm.
It's
I
check
guess
name.
The question really is, can the nurse disclose the information? And I have to think that way. I don't know.
Or I was asking, can the coach give the information for that purpose to go and verify whether this student has been vaccinated without the parent?
So there are, there are ways, the simplest option would be to say to students. So are you suggesting that if you're vaccinated, you wouldn't have to worry about it? What we said in other places is the easiest way to do that is to say to the family, you have to wear a mask unless you produce documentation of that. So the person says, either wear a mask or you wear your doctor and let it come down and they can make their decision. documentation. That's the easiest way, and you don't have to get in what you're disclosed is confidential.
Okay.
Medical information, which probably is much more. That would be my thought, if you were going for it.
So it's okay for him to hand over the list because it's public work.
Right, but I mean, that's the easy part. The first is what the nurse gives us that information about who's out there. I have to think about whether it will be okay to have. That would not be my quick recommendation of what it was going to, at least from the email.
I mean, all of us know your medical anything can't be disclosed unless you authorize for it to be disclosed. So the answer to that would be no, because the nurse is the only person that will be authorized to see that. And the nurse can't in turn give it to Coach Lynch, me, or nobody else.
It certainly seems that given that it's all within the same organization, I just need to make sure. But the student rights responsibility, that it can be, so I just don't know whether there's. I don't know. But I know that what was said in other places, to avoid that issue, the easiest to avoid is because if you're going to go in this direction, you have to wear a mask unless you produce. That takes you out of it. But then you just leave it on the family. I think that's the easiest way to show, and it takes their staff as a little, have to try to figure it all out.
Coach Tank, I think you was in the middle of a question. Did you get the answer? I mean, did you ask the question that you wanted to ask?
Yeah, he just asked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Attorney.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I like that suggestion that they wear the mask unless they produce documentation that they have taken it that been vaccinated, but the parent or the legal guardian will bring that to you, and then you're not disclosing it. They are on a volunteer basis. So that would clear the school system and the personnel tied with it. And if they don't bring their documentation, the guardian or parent, then they have to wear the mask.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Motion is in order.
I make a motion that for the athletes, that they must wear the mask unless a parent or guardian bring in documentation that they have been vaccinated.
So you basically saying as is. But that's basically what we already have. I'm saying the reading of it is basically the same thing.
But we don't say anything about the parent or guardian bringing in the documentation that they've been vaccinated.
No, it doesn't say parent or guardian. No, it just says that if I remember correctly, that what is it? Student athlete?
I think,
No.
I think that is how it makes it.
Yeah.
The only, I mean, right now it says vaccinated students don't have to wear a face covering. So implicit in those, someone's got to do documentation.
Right.
But if he wants to tweak it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I don't know that
Well, I would
I
say-
don't know that language changes it.
Right.
But I think when you say the parent or guardian has to do it, you clear it up as to saying you must have documentation. I mean,
No, it certainly does shift. In that, I probably won't say it. It certainly does remove any inference from this that somehow staff needs to start to figure out. So I do think it's probably because it's cleaner overall way to say that unless parent and or guardian.
And you saying have to, provide that to the coach, to the athletic director.
Well, to the school.
Well,
I would say
I think it would
athletic
have,
director.
I would think it should be the coach,
Yeah.
because if he give it to the athletic director, I don't know, that would put him at risk in terms of telling someone else.
Can it give it directly to the nurse?
I mean, in terms of giving it to the coach.
Well, I mean, it can be provided to, we'll probably get it way down to the week at the board level, but it can be provided to
Athletic department.
or we can give it to the nurse and then the nurse. Either way, it's got to get the coach.
Well, I think it, as you were saying, the only reason why I said athletic director is because that's the department head, and in this case, he's the coach as well.
Right.
So he has to oversee, the coaches. So I think if it's submitted to the athletic director, and the athletic director tell coach, tank, A, B, C, all right, yeah, D, E, F, yeah, that's just me. So that's the language. You all right with that? You got it, Ms. Deborah?
I got it.
All right.
This time.
Got a motion? No, he was just.
No, I did a motion.
Okay, all right. And second, all right. It's been motioned and properly seconded to continue with the current policy with the addition of saying documentation by parent or guardian be submitted to the athletic director.
Well, that's not exactly the motion. So I thought he was making, I assume he was working with it. He just don't have to, I think he's gonna go back. If what he is actually motioning is all students, blah, 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 wear masks as currently is today, and that's the student athlete part. That's what you're saying. If for guys to follow, that's a quite a good motion. Because when he said, if you just call for a motion, I'm saying that you need a motion now for school.
Okay, so this needs to be,
But he can vote on the 14th first, and then vote on the other.
okay, all right. Are you all right with that?
That's fine.
William, we vote on that part first and then we do the other part?
I'm fine.
Okay, so you still accept your motion as stated with that verbiage for the athletic part?
Yes, sir.
All right, and Ms. K. Robinson, you still second?
Yes.
All right, so we'll come back to the other part. All right. Okay, you heard the motion. Any further discussion?
What's the motion? Say it again.
That for the student athletes, that the parents or guardian be required to submit to the athletic director their status of whether they have received or not received a vaccination. And then the AD in turn will have to talk with
Or they would have to wear the mask.
right, or they will have to wear the mask.
The way I would say.
Stated Attorney Malone.
Looking at the current language is all unvaccinated student athletes are required to wear face coverings at all times. And vaccinated student athletes have the option to wear face covering if documentation of vaccination status. Okay.
Back here.
And that would also apply to the coach.
Right. All right, everybody clear on the motion? The other part, face coverings for spectators. Oh, no. That's totally different. Yeah, that's totally different. Right. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of that motion? Ms. Hale? She still with us?
I think the internet.
Okay. Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Jenkins? O.D. Sykes, no. Ms. Bird Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Kim Robinson? Mr. Williams? Yes. Ms. Hale? She still. Okay, let the record reflect 5-1 in favor of the 6 board members that's voting at this time. All right. Move on to the next one.
Right, so now I think we just take a motion to stick with the current policy. Otherwise, for now.
That we continue our current policies on facial covering, option 1.
Motion has been moved and properly second to continue with the policy that is currently in place. You heard that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by your voice vote. Ms. Hale? All right, Mr. Williams? Yes. Ms. K. Robinson? Ms. Bird Robinson? O.D. Sykes? No. Mrs. Jenkins? Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Jenkins? Ms. Hale? Let the record reflect 5-1. With Ms. Hale being muted at this time from the 6 board members voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Mr. Lynch. The athletic update.
I would like to first provide you all with the information that you requested on the last board meeting. That handout consists of the pay scale from the other surrounding schools. Also the average of what coaches are making in a particular school in the area, and also on an average what they are making more than the coaches at Weldon City Schools. Okay. On the screen here, what I have is the pay scale, one of the pay scales, one of the 3 pay scales that I'm asking. And this here would be to give the coaches an increase of $300. To give each coach an increase of $300, it would be an additional $12,600. On the next scale, it is the proposed scale to give each coach an additional $600, which would come out to be a total of $25,200. And on the last proposed scale is a scale if we was to give each coach an additional $800 increase, which would cost an additional $33,600. Each one of these scales have two minor changes on them, and one is up under the initial coaching placement, where I would like to ask for years of experience, that each coach get 1 year for each coach as a, no, 1 year for each year as a paid coach at that sport, or a half step for each year as a paid assistant in any sport. The next change that I made to this year, and the final change, was to make sure that the athletic trainers, the cheer coaches, the equipment specialist, game day coordinator, and athletic director is paid for every season work. You could take a few minutes to look through the package, and I would gladly answer any questions that you may have.
Coach Lynch, could you give me that first amount again? I missed it. You said 12,000.
$12,600 to give each coach at the high school and middle school level a raise of $300. And like I explained the last time, which is way below the average pay of an individual coach in this area. The percentage was about, I want to say it was 74, around 74% more on an average. Yeah, than coaches here at Weldon. I have the numbers here. For coaches in the surrounding schools, they make on an average $1,580.11. But for schools that are about our size, they make on an average of about $2,000 more, which is $1,933 on an average, more than the average coach at Weldon. So I am asking that you guys select one of the options, to give us at least a $300 raise, a $600 raise, or an $800 raise, which would still be well under what the average coach is making in this area.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Coach Lynch.
Yes, sir.
With the other schools, it doesn't say anything about the number of years. So
No, that's the initial. That is the first year. Each, yes.
show a scale.
I see here at Weldon. Weldon is going to be 0 to 3 years. Northampton, this year look like this may be a one-time pay. I'm not sure. I have to get clarity on that, but it looked like it may be a one-time pay. Ronald Rapids look like this. Well, they have a scale, and I took the initial payment from Ronald Rapids, so they have a scale. I started with 0 year. And Halifax, I believe that this year will be a one-time pay. So the majority of the schools are, that is their initial pay compared to our initial pay.
No, I just didn't see that a scale for those. I saw the one for Ron Rapids. Ron Rapids, I kind of slide to the side without looking at them in comparison to our school. But Northwest and Halifax, they pretty much are. That's why I was asking for what their scale was.
I just put down whatever they made on their first year of coaching. All of them. That's what they make on their first year of coaching, what I submitted to you all.
Coach Lynch, I'm gonna be totally honest with you, and I know the board, I hope we will go ahead on and make a decision tonight, but I know in last month's board meeting, we requested this.
Yes.
So we would not have to take the time to be reading over this during the meeting. And I'm trying to figure out why this was not included in the numbers that were presented, because we specifically asked for this. And the reason to ask for it was so we could look over this before we actually got to the meeting, so we wouldn't have to spend unnecessary time trying to review and compare.
I got you. Yes, I was told to have it in within the next few days, and I had it in within maybe 2 days submitted.
So it wasn't included.
Yes, it was.
You didn't receive the email?
No, I'm talking about when all of this was in the packet. Was it included in the packet?
It should have been. Yes, all of it was.
And
Okay.
You got an email too.
I received it on an outside email, but I didn't recall having all of this unless it was several pages and I
Yes, it
just
was.
skipped over a couple of pages. I saw that. This top page, and it may have been in there and I missed it. I saw this top page, but I didn't see the additional breakout. I'm not saying that it wasn't there and sent. I'm just saying I didn't see it. I saw this top one. I thought it would have been included when I got the packet, to look at. I'm not saying that it wasn't all there. Understand what I'm saying? I was looking for it all in the packet when it came to look at one time. I remember this part here. That's all I was saying. Oh.
The budget may have to be amended, depending on which.
Let me ask a question, Ms. Campbell. I need your help real quick. When we did the budget, I know we were looking at taking a certain part out that was recommended, and when we did our budget, I recommended
We
that
added, we put back in what was budget originally last school year.
right. So how much of a difference is that versus?
I don't know because I hadn't seen I didn't hear the total figures until tonight.
Okay. I know we put back in, wasn't it about, I know it was 15. I thought it was 19.
It took it to 47 or something like that.
Right.
You have to take into consideration some of the coaches that we didn't have contracts at the time. We don't know what we need to verify their experience and see where they fall. Because when I originally did it, I did it based on information for the experience we did have.
Right.
And then there are some coaches that we did not have their experience for.
Right.
So we don't know where they're gonna fall with this additional. So that's gonna tweak everything. So I would need to know all the experience and where they will fall in order to give you a true number.
Okay.
Because then you have to take into consideration if they're already employees of the district, the retirement rate and social security and everything.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
Kicked it down the road the last time. What if we look at this and they go ahead and get paid, Coach Lynch and these other coaches get paid for what's there now, And then we make the changes where we come up with, then we make it retroactive and they receive another check.
I mean, I can live with that.
Ms. Campbell? Stand up. Sit down. Ms. Campbell, I was saying that, perhaps if we paid the coaches based on what they are now, then when we look at this again, because it's a lot to look at.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Then if some changes are made, we go back and make it retroactive and then you add it there.
That would give us a chance to get all the years of experience on all coaches forward. I can see where they fall on each one of the scales. And then I can do a true calculation on if there's enough money or if we'll have to use fund balance to cover the cost.
And then we decided on 0 or 300, 600, 800.
Right.
Then you can go for that.
I don't have a problem with that, but I know that the, it's November now.
Right.
And one with the volleyball and football has already ended, and those coaches will do their check. So I can agree with that, as you saying that, you know, we go ahead on and pay as is, but I would hope next month we'd be ready to say, and then they just make it retroactive.
And we have paid the middle school. Mr. Hawkins has already submitted all of his information in, so they will receive their check on payday on the 23rd.
Okay.
I received their information, his memo to go ahead and pay them.
Okay. And these coaches, we need to do the same thing for the high school so they can go ahead on and get their checks. So Mr. Lynch, can you make sure that you get this expedited to them so they can get their checks? Because listening to what you said, high school and middle school, so that means both will be receiving a retro check. So we need to make sure the high school coaches get theirs on payday.
The only problem is I have to check on the federal deposits because we're paid on the 23rd, and that I have to see if she has already transmitted that information to IRS. Because we have to transmit federal deposit by a certain number of days before payday. So I just need to check on that to re-verify that has not already been submitted, because you can only submit it once, I believe, but I will recheck on that again, because a lot of things has changed since I've done payroll. But I just need to re-verify, can you transmit it twice or have two, because they have it in the system, we get paid once a month, so I just need to check on that to see.
Well, the remedy for that is, like we've done before, pay it and add it to next month. So the coaches for the high school can get their check.
You can't add this month's into next month's pay. You can't do that.
Well, we need to find some way, form, or fashion to make sure our coaches get their checks at the high school this month. I don't know how.
do what I can, but I know I cannot pay for this month and transmit the deposits next month, because then we'll get a penalty from IRS.
Okay.
So I will follow up and check into it and see. I will.
Yeah.
I
we need
will
to make
first thing
sure that-
tomorrow morning.
Cause I don't, one set of coaches, I don't think that would be, good
But they
business.
turned theirs in.
Coaches did the same thing.
They turned theirs in on time. So, I mean, they just get paid next month if she can't do it.
What, did you not submit?
No, I haven't seen a high school submission for payment.
Certain coaches, I think 2 coaches submitted theirs in. They were the ones.
They submitted their contract, but I
Okay.
haven't got your memo showing, the payments. That, yeah, they got submitted the contract.
Okay, all right. We'll work it out. However,
Okay.
Get the memo to her by tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
and we'll see where we go from there.
I have the document. I can get it to a father tonight.
Okay, well, we'll see where we go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I check on the first thing in the morning.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Coach Lynch. All right, let's move on to number 6 real quick. Approval of the Power School Unified Talent Solutions. No, we're gonna bring it back after we get this. Right, right. You got it.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Chair Sykes,
All right.
Vice Chair Brother Robinson, members of the board, Dr. Myrick, colleagues and guests. Tonight, even at 9:35, I am excited to share this with you because I think it's going to give Weldon City Schools an opportunity to be in a different place as it relates to what we want to do with not only our HR system, but also just with your HR records. Each of you should have received my presentation tonight in your board packet, I hope.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So the second slide, Mr. Thomas, and you all can read this if you haven't already read it. It just kind of gives you a timeline of where we have come in terms of working with getting a little modernization done with the HR department in particular. It started out in 2015. The state gave to every school system an opportunity to be a part of a teacher match applicant tracking system at no cost to them. And Weldon City Schools, of course, took advantage of that. So that currently is the system that we use to for applicants to apply, for us to kind of follow, track them, and we'll consider them for employment. So in the spring of 2020, the state board authorized the Department of Public Instruction to partner with Teach NC and Power School. And if you are, I'm sure you are aware, Power School is the mechanism that kind of drives all of our student pieces in education. So it's kind of exciting now to know that Power School is now going to be a part of our recruitment, our hiring processes, and it is all automated through one system. So we won't any longer have to be connected with several different systems because the one that the state is now proposing will be a part of the Power School. So there's some districts that we still have a teacher match, but there are some districts across the state that had Apple Track. Some of them had Search Soft. And in the case of the larger districts, probably Wake and Charlotte and some of the larger districts, they had their own systems that they developed if it wasn't one of those that they were providing for themselves. Now, here we are in 2021, and we have another great opportunity that we have decided in Weldon City Schools that we weren't going to be the tail end, we were going to be at the very beginning. So the state has come along again and is offering school systems the opportunity to upgrade their applicant tracking system. And it's going to be a part of the whole Power School system. And it won't come with any cost associated to the school. So there'll be an upgrade of teacher match, so to speak, but it's going to have a different name. It's called the Apple Tracking System Onboarding System. So Apple Tracking, a teacher match is going to go away. Effective July 2022, there will be no more tracking of applications through teacher match. We'll have this new ATS onboarding system, and it's being offered to us for free. And all we had to do was to decide we were one of those districts that wanted to do it. And so when Ms. Lewis and I attended the personnel conference and they were looking for schools to volunteer of various sizes, then Weldon City Schools was one of the school districts that volunteered. So we are already in the throes of making that transition to our applicant tracking system is going to be onboarding, and we're in the process of doing that in November. It took the technology director and partnering with us in HR. So we've undergone several webinars with the State Department and the Power School people to make sure that we've got everything in place to make that happen. There've been training sessions that we've been going through, transitioning our data and doing the setup. So we're in that initiating phase. And the whole process is supposed to take just 45 days. So our goal is to have this ready to launch by December 1st, unless there's some glitch or something either on our side or their side. Now, the request I bring to you tonight, though, is that we not only want to update our applicants system, we also want to update our employee record system and our substitute process. The same Power School system offers 2 additional pieces that they're not offering to us free, but we can add those systems to our applicant track or the applicant track system onboarding system, and one is called employee records. This will be the first step to becoming paperless with the files for each employee that we have in the district. Right now, we are housing all of our employee files. Your past files are upstairs in the warehouse, but your current files are in the filing room in the HR department, and they consist of 11 by 17 files. And then there's files inside that folder, and there's papers of all sorts in nature inside that file. The employee record system will allow us to be paperless. And so we underwent a demo with the Power School people to see exactly how that was going to work. So on this next slide, you see it's called Unified Talent Employee Records, and you can see the 7 different things that it's going to offer us if we will be willing to take and add this piece to what the Power School system is going to provide to us for free. The main thing for us, I thought was key, was number 2, automate paper-based HR process like onboarding, offboarding, contract renewals. All of that would be automated now. We wouldn't have to be having to track the paper. Assign and track documents that will be electronic signatures, so people wouldn't have to be passing the paper from the employees to us, then return them back to us. And also the process would allow papers to travel within the district. So from an HR standpoint, once people are hired, then they've got to go to finance, and then finance has to make sure that we've got the right budget codes attached to it. This is going to allow that all to happen, and it's called a workflow. So we can see where things may be bottled down or things may be held up, and make sure that process is going to expedite just a little bit faster. But if you look at number 7, it's going to integrate with recruitment, hiring, and onboarding. All of that stuff going to be seamless if we're able to sign on to the records portion of the Power School Unified Talent solution. The next piece is the Power School Unified Talent piece, and it's called Employee Smart Find Express. This is an online way for substitutes to see where the vacancies are, and they could choose what vacancies they want to sign into and select those jobs. Now, the schools have an opportunity to develop what they call their preference lists. The district has an opportunity to develop what they call a preference list, and the automated system automatically calls, or they can call or do it online with a telephone number, either way, and they can see those jobs. And it also tracks with payroll. So, because for every substitute that we have, it has to be matched with a teacher, because the sub has to be paid from that same budget code. So Smart Find Express would allow us to be able to track those systems seamlessly without the use of paper. I talked to a principal recently, and we were looking at how did he track his subs. And so when teachers are out, they're sending the principal an email. And then when payroll time comes, he goes to the emails to figure out who was out. And then he has to match that with the substitute was in that person's place and make sure that information gets correctly to the payroll department so they can be paid. That wouldn't happen with Employee Smart Find Express, because it is all automated, and the finance and the substitute and matching for the teacher would be all in line with each other. Now, on this last slide, you can see the cost. It is based on, for the first piece of it, the Unified Talent Applicant Tracker, we're getting that free, just as an upgrade of our current teacher match applicant system. So that's not costing us anything. We're undergoing that right now. That's the 45-day piece, and we'll have that in place. But if we're interested in picking up the unified talent records, and if you think of that as your paperless HR files and the unified talent smart find express, it's based on an ADM of 700. And so the cost is $6,500. And then the substitute piece is $2,500 for a total cost of the platforms of $9,000. So just like for implementing anything for the first time, there's an implementation fee. So for the unified talent records, the first one-time fee will be $5,775. And for the one-time fee for the Smart Find Express, it will be $4,950 for a total of $10,525. Now, at the very bottom, I've shown you how you can break this up if you choose, or you can do it all at once. I'm excited to be able to share with you tonight that we have funding for this year. So it wouldn't cost the board, the local board, anything, because we could pay through this with our ESSER funds in the grant that Ms. Austin has already been approved. But to continue this, if you look at the #1 option, to keep both the sub and the records piece, it is an annual renewal, not the implementation anymore, of just $9,000 that will be needed added to the HR budget. So my request to you tonight is I offer both of these options to you with requesting that you consider doing them this year because we do have the funding, and then moving forward, asking that you would consider, if it's not both of them, I think one of the priority pieces would be the unified talent records so that we could better organize our records. We've got a case right now where we've been asked to find an employee's past records. They've called and want some information. And we spent a couple of days already going upstairs in the warehouse to looking in old files to try to find that person's file. To date, we haven't found it yet. So we've got to get a better handle on trying to organize those paper files. And at some point, we will start with the current files, but at some point we would have those old files scanned in as well, and they will be accessible too. Because as long as we have the documentation, it really is the employee's information that we ought to be able to provide for them. And right now, we're not in a place where we can do that in a seamless or in a timely manner because of the way the files are being housed. So I would ask for your consideration tonight to consider adding in your 22-23 budget an additional $9,000, because we do have funding, I think, for the next 2 years, actually, since it's ESSER. So if you consider adding the $9,000 to your HR budget to continue these two programs, along with the one that the state's gonna provide to you for free. If I can entertain any questions.
Anybody?
Yes, and we've got 20,000, because this is the first year of implementation. So we've got the funding to cover the implementation year. So next year, they're on cost 9, which we've got that covered for next year. And then in that third year is when you be looking at $9,000, just to keep our annual $9,000 in your HR budget.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Lewis,
That's Ms. Dan.
That's all right.
Ms. Dan,
I'll answer to
I'm
Ms.
sorry.
Lewis too. That's all right.
I'm sorry, I talked to her about the employees, you're talking about trying to find that file.
Yes, sir.
That's what I talked to her. What happens after the third year?
Well, that's when the third year, you would need to have $9,000 to continue your
What
subscription.
happens the fourth year if you don't have the 9,000?
Well, you're gonna need it your third year.
Okay. if
So we
don't
got it
have-
this year, we got this year covered, we got next year covered. It's the next year that that 9 would have to be in place.
Okay.
And it'll continue to be just the 9 for the subscription. You don't ever have to do the implementation fee again.
Okay, well, I got my years messed up.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, when it comes time for us to pay the 9,000 and the ESSER funds have run out,
Uh-huh.
and we don't have the $9,000, then what happens?
then you're gonna have to figure out what kind of system you're gonna have in place, because you would have started something. And then you gotta figure out how you want to continue, or do you revert back to your paper files?
Yes.
I think Ms. Austin had something to say.
2 years, this year. Miss Officer Sharon. Help me, Miss. Oh, yeah. She did say we had Title II funds, because we could, there are other fund sources, federal fund sources that you can look at, that you can fund it from, not just your local budget.
Okay, that's better.
So that's looking at the longevity.
And because it's a software, you can also use capital.
So we got two
Sounds
different
good.
pots for weekend after the second year.
Right, it's still got 2 parts.
Right.
So
Yes.
I move that we, forward with the employee records smart line express system for, this year,
Option 1. The option 1 you're talking about.
option one, yes.
That second? Oh, okay, I didn't hear you. It's been motioned properly seconded that we move forward with the, yeah.
What Ms. K. Robinson just said.
Since she repeated it so eloquently. And it has been seconded by Mrs. Bird Robinson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by your voice vote. Ms. Hale? Okay, she's not there. Ms. Bird Robinson? Ms. K. Robinson? Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Sykes, aye. Ms. Jenkins? Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
All right, let the record reflect unanimous approval for option 1. With our HR department.
thank you.
Thank you.
6 board members. All right. Supplemental pay proposal.
Good evening again this evening, with all due respect. I'm here bringing back the proposal that we shared with corrections and additional collaboration between Dr. Myrick and Ms. Campbell and I, with ensuring that we had focused on all areas that are concerned. So we have our option 1 that has, and what we've done is we've broken it down as to which expenses, where the funding would come from. So option 1 was the $500 from current expense on December 15th, with the $25,000 on May 25th. So I'm sorry, 2,500. It's past my bedtime. I'm sorry, 2,500.
If you go back, it said 500 on what?
On December 15th. Also, option 2. Okay, yes, sir.
Repeat the whole option 1, and they said 500 on 12/15, says some other things.
And then 2,500 on May 25th.
Yeah, it's in your book.
It's okay? Okay. Option 2, we looked at in enhancing and matching the 500 with ESSA funds and $500 with current expense, whereas employees would receive $1,000 on December 15th, and then the additional 2,000 from ESSA funds on May 25th. Option 3 was eliminating anything coming from current expense, with it being $1,250 on December 15th and $1,250 of ESSA on May 25th. Under each option, we have shared for your review the total amount that it would cost from each budget line item. And that is for current employees.
One thing I just want to point out, one little caveat.
Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna say me, I'm with option 2, but if I would like to see it say that our employees, they were employed in order to get the December 1, they had to be employed as of today, as it stated. But in order to receive the May 1, that's an incentive of coming back, that the employee would actually need to be employed beginning January, whatever day we come back to school, in order to get that $2,000 one in May. So what day are we supposed to come back to school next year? You know, they're starting work that day. Then, you know, we do the 2,000, that's the way.
So must return to January.
Yeah, they must be an employee January, whatever that start day of school is. Through, you said through May 25th, yeah, to get the 2,000.
Okay. Okay.
I like that. As I said, my support is option 2, because the employee gets more, they get 1,000 December, and they get 2,000 in May.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's me. Other board members?
And if you like, I will, would you like to stop here? Would you like me to go ahead to the next criteria, which was new employees? With new employees, option 1, new employees hired prior to the last day of the first quarter will receive a 2,500 sign-on and supplemental retention pay. Or option 2, hired after the first day of the first quarter will receive $1,250 sign-on supplemental retention pay as on May 25th, 2022.
Yeah, go right ahead.
The option 2, is that including your total here on first page?
That's additional.
That's additional.
Total that? Can't tell you on that.
We don't know.
Right.
My other question was, I guess for Ms. Campbell, in the current expense fund, do you have, how would that impact?
We have to increase the budget using fund balance.
Any other questions?
No. That, what is it?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Okay, going back to those 3 options. We do an option 3. That money gonna be gone anyway in 2 years. I say take it out of ESSER funds where they get half and half. And then we can say that 97,000 current expense. Maybe do something somewhere else. I mean, that's what I think.
I like
I mean,
option 3
my
too.
main thing is I want our employees to get more, but I also want them to get something.
Right, right. So,
and I can support option 2 with the new hire criteria. That's why I would be.
we need to make motion for that.
We would need to make motion option 3. Yeah. Mhm.
So, Ms. Campbell. Oh, okay. I'm like, what you
I
got?
didn't go back.
Okay, Ms. Campbell, I'm gonna let her share the information on the contracted employees.
She was doing such a great job. In option 2 with the contracted employees, I was asked to do calculations for contracted employees that is not employed with our district, that is paid on payroll side. And we came up with 2 options after working with Dr. Myra and Mrs. Austin. The first option is, and I think what it was, Mrs. Burt Robinson stated that she wanted the contract employees to get something, even if they did not get the same amount as the regular employees got. It's what, when I looked at the clip, that's what was shared. Right?
I know we're talking about, yeah, okay, we're talking about the contract people. I do.
Okay.
Want them to get,
Okay.
if they can get what everybody else is getting, that would be ideal, but if not.
Okay, so we came up with two options, and the first option was basically when we were looking at the $500 in December, we cut that in half to $250 for the contracted service, and with the $2,500 in May, we cut that to $1,250, which comes to a total cost of $14,532.76. Will all be local funds, because ESSA cannot pay the contracted people because they're not actually regular employees of the district. Option 2 is for the contracted service to basically receive the same amount, the $500 on December 15th and the $2,500 in May. And that will be a cost to the district of $29,065.50. And again, that is current expense fund, and we still also will have to, with either option, you will have to use fund balance to cover that expense.
Oh, yes.
They were coaches, I believe. They were all the coaches that was not employed in the district doing other duties. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Yes, if I calculated the number correctly, yes. Yes. And what I did, I took the current coaching that I had, and I think I added maybe 1 or 2 in to be on the safe side to make sure.
Okay, with that being said, can we do just a quick roundup with the first one? I think we said option 3, 1250, 1250.
Yes.
Right, well, all else, I'm just making sure we together. And then the criteria for new employees, we said option 2, the 1250, making sure I'm right.
Yeah.
And then we have to choose in this option.
Option 1.
Option 1.
I said 1.
Okay.
I said 1. Option 1. Right. But then, like, if you have a coach or someone that just do one season, I mean, I don't see them getting $3,000.
Right. They wouldn't get it. But see, remember, I said that they needed to be the employees, whatever they would come back to school in January.
Yeah, but I'm talking for this contracted service.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I got you. I got it. Why?
In that case, the amount will go down then. Because if you have a coach that's not coaching in the spring sport, then they wouldn't be qualified for the second half of the month.
Right.
So the amount will go down.
Right.
Yeah, so I like 2. I like
We
1.
want them to get something.
Right. So what are you saying, option 1?
1.
What are y'all saying?
Option
1?
1.
Okay, all right. With the
contract.
but I'm saying, yeah, with the contract, as you said, Ms. Harrison, but also with the understanding that in order to get the second part, they must be an employee January, whatever that day is, we come back to school through May.
Okay.
Y'all clear?
Right.
All right.
In your thought, it's not, let's say clearly, that if the second one, in January, whatever.
Right,
May,
right. Correct. Because see, it's up here that you had to be an employee July 1, 2021 through basically tonight. If we decide on it, then that makes them eligible for next month.
Reverend Sykes, I just want to reiterate again with the contracted services. The contracted services is what's been processed on payroll side, not accounts payable side, like I speak services. Because I don't want nobody to go out and say that contracted people was, I just want to reiterate, those that's paid on accounts payable side is not eligible. Like speech services, physical therapy, like.
Right, we got that.
I mean, I just
thank
want
you for
the
the clarity.
public to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You weren't saying that one plus this one. It was
Correct.
just the first, yeah.
Correct.
Got it.
So basically, it covers our.
Basically. Right. We ready for the motion, I think, now.
Give the following bonuses/incentives to our current employees, option 3, our new employees, option 2, and our contracted employees, option 1.
Motion has been moved and properly seconded that we approve the bonus/incentive, option 3 for current employees, option 2, correct? Right here, your new employees. What would you say, right?
Yes.
Okay, and contracted option 1 with the clarity of the date for next year,
Yes, sir.
January through
Okay.
May.
Okay.
All right.
And I will add that again with the latest budget amendment, it was approved and the funding has been set aside for the next 2 years.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, you heard the motion. All in favor, Mr. Williams said yes. Ms. K. Robinson? Ms. Bird Robinson? O.D. Sykes, aye. Ms. Jenkins? Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
And Ms. Hale. Let the record reflect unanimous approval of the 6 board members present. All right, moving right on. We gonna bypass the break and we gonna keep on moving public forward. Dr. Myra, we have anybody for public forum?
Yes, sir. We have 2 individuals who signed up for public forum.
Okay.
The first person is Ms. Kayla Frazier.
Ms. Kayla Frazier, she's not here. Okay.
She's not here.
Moving on. Second person.
Our second person is Ms. Regina Brooks.
All right. Ms. Brooks. Ms. Brooks, as we normally do, you have 3 minutes of public comment, and anytime you are ready to get started.
Good evening. I'm the only person here who's not employed with Weldon City Schools, if you look around. I am a member of Tri-City Chapter of Charms Incorporated under the leadership of President Debbie Bennett. A few years ago, we adopted Weldon Pre-K and assisted with many educational activities because our motto is listen to the children. Our president has asked members to prepare Zoom stories for schools and classes. After speaking with Mrs. Jones, the principal of the elementary school, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and Miss Betty Scott, who's the pre-K teacher, I have prepared the gumdrop treat, which you see right there with Miss Jenkins because of my childhood memories. A wonderful experience. I'm leaving it with you, Miss Jenkins, to get it to Miss Scott. You see, after preparing and spending money on this project, Dr. Merritt sent me a message that I would have to pay to get copies to the board members. I didn't get the price of having the copies prepared. How sad it is when we are approaching the loneliest holiday and the most important holiday that we forget who we are. You need Jesus. We forget to give glory and honor. Remember who you serve. Do what's right for all children. Each one of you and the members who are employed, you all really need to do some serious. You need to talk to your church members, go to church. You need to call your mamas if they're living, and you need to do some praying. Mrs. Jenkins, I really appreciate you getting that to Ms. Scott, and I will try to get it Zoom, and so will Tri-City Chapter of Chums. It's sad when you are intimidated because you know you can walk it and talk it. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and thank you. And I do have copies, Ms. Jenkins, since. And you can keep the first one since I couldn't get a copy. If the other members would like to read it, they can pay to have it. Thank you so much. Since I don't get the funds.
Community, I normally don't respond. But after consulting with our attorney, he said it was in the privilege and purview of board members if they wanted to respond. And I'm gonna say to this community, my colleagues that serve on this board, and this is a general statement, this is not directed at any individual or individual. This is a general statement. This entire board was elected by the people, for the people. And as long as this board is intact, and these board members have told me, all of these board members are going to do to the best of our ability what is in the best interest of children and this district. I give you a brief analogy. You all have seen a crock pot. And I want to tell you all tonight that the more pressure you put on a crock pot, the more pressure it can take. This board is elected and we're gonna do the job. A crock pot has never cracked. A crock pot has never broken. It has a cock on top of it. And when it gets enough steam, it releases the steam from the little cock that's on the top of it. And we know how, as a board, to function. We may not always agree, but one thing I can pride myself on saying about this board is we don't leave a board meeting upset, disgruntled with one another. We respect one another's opinion and the right that each board member has. That's the way we function. That's the way we operate. And that's the way we're going to continue to operate. So whatever pressure is put on this board, we're not going to break under pressure. We're not going to crack under pressure because we know we have been elected to do a job. And that's what we're going to do to the best of our ability. And the board members concurred with this statement. And I wanted the community to know, we don't feel no ways tired. We understand that sometimes people are going to agree and people are not going to agree. That's life. But we as a board, a 7-member board, we're going to state our opinion. We win some, we lose some, but at the end of the day, we're still a board and our #1 priority is children. Thank you all for listening to that comment tonight. Let's move forward with our consent agenda, please.
We have one item for consent agenda, Mr. Chair, and that is for PRC, and that is for PRC 174. And Ms. Garner is here if you have questions, and it involves our school nutrition program, paying our school nutrition workers a supplement at the end of the school year.
come on, Ms. Garner, if you would, just in case there are questions. She's our child nutrition director. All of us know that. As far as you would just highlight real quick, I guess the part for child nutrition. I saw it in the packet and
Yes, good evening.
good evening.
Our school nutrition program was allotted $5,255 for our program for the pandemic, during the pandemic. And we split it up 11 ways, even it out, and retirement and social security was taken out of it. And they will be receiving it at the end of May, $369. And they have to work the whole year. The plan, I've submitted the plan. And the plan, we're just waiting on DPI to approve it.
And this is my question. This is additional funding that was allotted. for
Yes,
child
it's for
nutrition.
child nutrition only.
Okay.
And we can only use it for active full-time members, workers, no substitutes at all,
And no part-time.
no part-time. So we had the choice to either, I could have used the money on recruitment on new workers or use it on retention for the workers that's been working. And I chose to use it on the workers that's been working through the pandemic.
Good job. Good. Appreciate that. Do we need a motion so we can accept this?
It's a consent.
Oh, we got just approved the consent agenda. Y'all have it? Motion has been moved and properly second to accept the consent agenda. You heard the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by your voice vote, Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Ms. K. Robinson. Ms. Bird Robinson. O.D. Sykes, aye. Ms. Jenkins. Ms. Harrison.
Yes.
Ms. Hale. Let the record reflect.
Ms. Hale is here. She sent me a text and she said that she cannot talk, it's muted or something, she cannot unmute. And come back in.
I sent her a chat, she doesn't respond to my
She
chat.
said she can't respond to the chat.
She probably go back out of the week.
All right.
Okay, I hope she heard it.
Unanimous approval to approve the consent agenda. Thank you so much.
Thank
Ms. Garner.
you.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, number 10, feasibility study.
Yes, that was for the study at the middle school. And we heard back from Ms. Dear Denton, and that the commissioners have agreed to pay $50,000, but they would choose the firm to do the feasibility study.
I like the fact that we don't have to pay nothing, but it gives me pause that they got to choose.
So I think they're gonna choose the one that we had before.
Davis game.
Yeah, that's what they had said.
Okay. Okay, all right. That's for information.
Right, she didn't give me the name of the firm. She just said that in the email that it would be, they would get to choose.
Okay, all right.
So I can let her know to move forward.
Board, we moving forward?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, everybody say yes. All right, and we move number 11 to action from closed session. Yes, sir. A and B. We just on number 11. Action from closed session. Everybody get it?
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion?
Yes, yes.
I'm going to accept the closed session. The approved items from the closed session.
As amended.
As amended.
All right, motion has been moved and properly second to accept the approved recommendation from closed session as amended. You've heard that motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Ms. Hale? Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Odie Sykes? Aye. Ms. K. Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Jenkins? Mrs. Bird Robinson? Did Ms. Hale get on? All right, let the record reflect unanimous approval of the 6 board members for that are present at this time. All right.
I motion that we accept the resignation. Second.
Motion has been moved and properly second to accept the resignation agreement with Dr. Myrick. You heard that motion. All in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. K. Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Bird Robinson? O.D. Sykes, aye. Ms. Jenkins? Ms. Jenkins? Okay, Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Let the record reflect, and Ms. Hale?
Aye.
All right, let the record reflect unanimous approval of the resignation agreement of Dr. Myrick. I have a statement that I have to read. In accordance with General Statute 115C-271, I am required to report the following regarding Dr. Myrick's resignation. 1, no state funds are being used for this purpose. 2, no local funds appropriated for teachers, textbooks, or classroom materials, supplies, and equipment are being transferred or used for this purpose. And 3, no funds acquired through donation or fundraising are being used for this purpose. At this time, we will entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion has been moved and properly second that we adjourn our meeting for tonight. All in favor, let it be known by your voice vote. Ms. Hale?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Jenkins? Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. K. Robinson? Ms. Bird Robinson? O.D. Sykes, aye. Let the record reflect unanimous approval to adjourn the meeting. This meeting is adjourned at 10:21 p.m. Everybody have a good evening.